maintenance. Okay, so we do have some. So let's start with the board, if that's okay with you, and show you what we have prepared for them. All right, can you see my new Board of Directors orientation blueprint? Okay, let me stop my share and start it again. I was afraid that might happen, but I can fix that quickly. All right, now can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as I said, when you get this, one of the first things you're going to need to be able to need to do is you're going to get this protected view on that Word document. You just need to click Enable Editing on that to be able to go in and start making changes to the document. So that's what I've done. I'm going to change this to a one-page view and make it big enough so you can see it. So this gives you an idea of what you would do is you would, where it says insert chapter logo here, you would put your course name in there and or logo in there, and then down below, insert chapter name, you would do it there, and you've already started customizing your document. There is an actual automated table of contents here, and it's based on using headers in your Word document. So this is where if you have someone working on this that doesn't know Word real well, they might need some help, and that's not a problem. I can certainly help them with how this works. But here's the table of contents, and I'm just going to go right in, and these are actually clickable tables of contents, so I could go right to the welcome and take a look at that. So in order to do well, first of all, one
Sandy,
of the, yes,
can you make it a little bigger?
sure.
Thank you.
One of the things that our project group talked about was, the importance of having a well thought out orientation program for your management or your board so that everyone understood how things worked, what their responsibilities were, getting ideas and tips and tricks from someone who was their predecessor, where to find documents for your board or your team, um, and all of that information. And if you have something like this, it makes it much easier to recruit people to your board or to your management team because they know going in they have something that they can look at that's going to guide them into that position. So there's a nice little welcome laid out here. Again, put your chapter name in where it says red. And then it's pretty important if to have a mission, vision, and value statement. Hopefully, all of your courses do. But if not, I would just encourage you to have that because that sort of guides your, in this case, board. So you would insert your information into this document here. And then it's really important. Boards operate different from management teams. So you want to make sure that your team or your board understands how you operate. So I have a link in here to the chapter guide that explains how boards operate. Your standing rules. If you have your standing rules in a separate document digitally, you can insert the link there, or you can always just copy and paste your standing rules right into this document if you wanted to do that as well. And then it talks more about the board of directors governance style in this particular section. Um, your course is going to have a certain number of elected positions. Every course is different. You're going to want to fill that out and say this is the number of positions we have, our chapter name, etc. And as I'm going through this, I will tell you both documents, both the board and the management team are laid out pretty much in the same format. It's just going to be specific to the type of governance style that your course uses. So you want to talk about the frequency of your meetings. You want them to be able to know that. How often do you meet? Do you meet once a month? Do you meet every 2 weeks? What do you do? I also put in here the chapter guide recommends that you should meet monthly. They say that you should meet monthly. So I put some little guides in here from the Sweet Adelines document as well. And then I don't know how many of you have job descriptions, but that's pretty important. And you want to make sure that incoming members to your team know what their job description is. So either link to that if it's digital somewhere, or you can copy and paste them into this document, however you want to do that. A little bit more about the expectations of a board, but you might have different ones, so you might want to customize this as well. You want to talk about how you manage your documents. And so this document storage section is a good place to put what you do for document storage. The other thing, the next section in this document is a year in the life of our chapter. You're going to need to update this, but give your group, your team, your board an idea of what happens throughout the year and whose responsibility it is. So this is something to be customized as well, and it's laid out by months of the year. And a lot of this information that's in this document was actually taken out of the chapter guides, and what their recommended activities are throughout the year. That's quite a long document. You could even put in this document, if you typically have a show, for example, in the spring and say April, you could put that in here and whose responsibility for that. So you could make that year, that calendar, as detailed as you would like to do that. Hopefully you all have a strategic plan, and if you don't, I'd encourage you to talk about that. So I have a section for you to insert your strategic plan. Also a section on where you can find financials. It's important. We have a fiduciary responsibility as board members or management team members to be aware of our financials and to make sure we're being fiscally stable. Did somebody have a question? Nope. Oh, okay. Meeting minutes. We are required to keep our meeting minutes. And when I looked at the chapter guide, we're supposed to keep them in perpetuity, which is pretty interesting from Sweet Adelines.
Wow.
And I'm sure most of us don't have them in perpetuity, but let people know where they can find the meeting minutes as well. Then here's where you're going to have probably some sort of a document for each of your positions that talks about, this is how you might do this. This is how you might market. This is how you might do your budget, things like that. So a section if you want to use it for job specific tips and tricks. Then I go into resources. So these are resources from Sweet Adelines. So this is a link to the chapter guide. Be aware that most of these resources, if you go out to the Sweet Adelines website, you do have to be logged in as a member of Sweet Adelines. But the chapter guide is a great resource if you have questions on how to run your chorus. The policy book is another very good resource. Here's the actual link to the website. I added some of the members only information because I thought that was really important for you to have, how to add a new member, because they want you to do all of this on their database now, directly on their website. So all of these, how to resign members, pay member dues, update chapter officers, which we have to do every year. All of these links are going to take you out there to those important resource documents. And then they've got some great marketing resources. So I'm taking you to that particular section of the Sweet Adeline website to look at their materials they have. And we all love the song assessment tool. Here's how you get there. And then actually still do have a Yahoo group. If you ever want to you want to communicate with other members of Sweet Adelines, that's that resource. I've also provided in this orientation resources for the region. So the website, where the event calendar is, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but just so you know, every single event that gets added to the region's website is made public. Details may not be available to the public if they're for members only, but you can see exactly what's happening just by going to that public event calendar. Here's how to see who to contact regarding questions you might have from the regional leadership team. So if you wanted my contact information as the education coordinator, it's in that document. Jan's is Sally. So that's a way to find out how to quickly get in communication with the RLT, how to look up members, and then here's the link to our Facebook page. I am seeing, oh no, okay, we're good. Then other resources. So I've put out the Barbershop Harmony Society link, their YouTube channel, Harmony Inc. We're one big, beautiful group of harmony singers. So it's good to be able to check out what's happening with some of the other groups. And then you want to get your course website on here, your Facebook page if you have them. If you have a members only Facebook page, put that on here as well, and your course YouTube channel so that they have these resources handy for them. So that is the board document. I'll open up the management team one in just a moment, but I just want to see, does anybody have any questions on actually how this is laid out or what we might be missing, because we might be missing something. Arlene.
I had a, oops,
Unmute. You had it before, but then you changed it.
okay.
There you are.
Sorry about that. One thing on the minutes, you should document or keep or, save them on a hard drive or whatever, because if there is ever a question as to, let's say you opened a bank account or whatever, the Internal Revenue or the state can come back and say, was this voted on? Or somebody could question it. And then you really need to have verification that the board approved it. So, I don't know how far back it goes, but certainly we've had that happen to us. And it's nice to have the verification in minutes. If it's something agreed upon off, like not in a formal meeting, like let's say, oh, we have to decide on something today. Then what we do is we make note of it so that the next time we have a board meeting, we stick it in the board meeting. So it's always documented what you did, especially legally. So there's never a question as to the board didn't approve something or whatever. Just protecting yourself.
Yep. Good reminder.
Yeah,
Thank
that's great. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Anybody else?
again, I don't know how far back you have to keep this. I doubt very, I don't think you need to go back 20 years, but certainly 10, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where it's pretty difficult because I do see in the Sweet Adeline chapter guide it says forever, but I don't know how you can do that. So, any other questions? So there were a couple of components that I didn't share in the board, so I want to bring up the management team orientation real quickly now and show you those other things that I didn't share with you. So I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so you should be seeing now the management team orientation. And again, I need to enable to edit this, if I can get to that in my screen. And I will make this bigger and I will get it off of the 2-page view. And Let's see. Trying to get my cursor. I have two screens and my cursor isn't wanting to go over to this screen. So give me 1 second here. Okay, I think I'm about there. How's that size? Okay. So in the board document, I took you right to this welcome screen, but I want to take you now to the management team orientation and the sample management team handbook. So this is a sample of how you might proceed to orient your new management team members or your new board members. We're going to talk about best practices in this section. So best practice is to schedule an in-person meeting of your incoming and outgoing management team or board sometime in the month of April or May, earlier if you want to. Even though you will have some members of the team that have been on there for a long time, it's really a good idea to have this and remind everyone of how your management team operates. Make everyone comfortable with their responsibilities as your course leaders, and to talk more again about the tools and the resources available to them in a leadership position. So what we have here is just a suggested outline of what you might do in an in-person meeting of your incoming and outgoing team. There's links again in this document. So a link to the welcome, which is part of the document. You might want to do introductions and a team building activity. Then you might want to review your management team or your board handbook, and even talk about making sure everybody understands what's in that document, and maybe considering in the future, maybe there's some things that need to be changed in that. You want to review your chapter bylaws, your standing rules with the new team. You want to explain how you are governed and how decisions are made, because it's completely different between a board and a management team. So you want to make sure that your new leaders and that your leaders that are staying on the team are reminded of how you govern. You might want to go through your team job descriptions and committees. So in a management team, there are team job descriptions, but the whole goal behind a management team is you have lots of committees to help the management team members do their jobs. Review the state of your course. This is really important. Talk about what is your strategic plan of your course. Get everybody up to speed on where you are with your goals, what your upcoming events and plans might be, any concerns that might be out there that members have expressed to you, so that you're all on that same page starting off the new year. Review your calendar at a glance. And then how you maintain your documents and your retention procedures. You want to review that in this meeting. And you want to then also schedule some breakout time so that the outgoing marketing person can speak with the incoming marketing person and share tips and tricks about their jobs. Talk more about how the position works and what they've done in the position and how they work things out. And just to give the background, it doesn't mean that incoming person's going to do everything the same, but they can at least help them know how things have been run. And you might even want to consider creating a mentoring plan for a period of 3 to 6 months with your incoming and outgoing team members, and include regularly scheduled meeting times. So this particular document, which is one of the very first things in the blueprint, gives you a pretty good idea of how you might orient your team or your board each year. And then you want to make sure that you have a management team handbook to take a look at. Something that if you use one now, That's great. I don't have an example in here, but the Helen Express Singers we do have a management team handbook. If you want me to send you that, you can just let Sally know and I will get it to you. But you really do want a handbook or a book that talks about your guidelines and your procedures. So you want to use that during the orientation. So I'm going to stop sharing. So that is, I mean, the rest of this is pretty much what I talked about with the board template. So open to questions, and I hope this has been helpful.
Any questions? This is really quite thorough and lots of detail. Arlene?
One suggestion, if your course doesn't have strategic plan, not strategic, mission, values, what I can't remember what those three things are. We do, I think the our LT has has people that can help you. And I know Carol Vecchio has been really good with other courses in developing your mission and your vision and all of that kind of stuff. So I would recommend her highly. I know she's worked with Pride of Portland and I think Pacific Sound too, didn't she, Dottie? Yeah. But anyway, so she's really good in focusing, of course, on what their values and where they should be going.
Thank you, Arlene. Let me put on my education coordinator hat now. That was a great little segue for me to just talk a little bit about the fact that we do.
I will shut up now.
Oh, that was great.
Okay.
I like that because as education coordinator, we do have what we call a PEP coordinator. It's Laura Lambert out of the Spokane Chorus. And Laura is able to arrange visits, not just musical visits, but administrative visits with the faculty to help your chorus. And those are basically at no cost to you. The region pays all of the cost of that. The only thing we might ask is that you provide housing for the person if they're willing to stay in your home. And we do have several excellent faculty that can provide strategic planning with your course. So don't hesitate to reach out. I will include this in a follow-up to Sally, Laura's information, her contact and her email. And all you need to do is reach out to her and then she'll help arrange that PEP visit for your chorus.
Worth the whatever cost it is to the region, it's really worth those visits. And sometimes, at least in my experience, when someone says, "Oh, we're going to do strategic planning," it's like, "Oh, it seems like such a chore, such an overwhelming job." But it's really these faculty members are great at moving you through it, and once it's done, you will be so glad. You'll be so relieved. Your chorus will have great direction, and you can keep looking back at that and saying, well, we're thinking about doing this. How does this align with what we said we wanted to do? And it's just a great way to keep your chorus on track. And of course, you have to update it every year, 2 years or so, but that's once you have it set, it's easy to update. So I encourage you strongly, if you have not done that with your chorus, to take the time. It's definitely worth it. And also we'll be sending out a summary of the meeting, and Cherie will send a link to the recording, and we will add the links to the documents that Sandy just shared with you. And I guess Laura's name, and if there's anything else you want us to send you, I've made a note also that Meg, your comment about needing a list of why this assessment, what everyone gets for this assessment increase. And actually the RLT did some of that also when we were considering it. I will put that together for you and send it out to you as well. Okay. What else? What else can we talk about, or questions we can answer? Anything else, Carolyn?
Sandy, what you mentioned, my Zoom meeting was cutting in and out, so I've got some connectivity, so I didn't quite catch at the very end when you were going through. Thank you so much for what you presented at SET, and then this information too. Appreciate it. You mentioned there was I think it was a handbook that could be available. Could that be provided also? I would love to see that.
Yes, I need to, there's a couple of changes that we need to make to our handbook, but I can certainly get that quickly made and send that to Sally to share as well. That may not come out with the first round. I need a few days to do that, but I will put that together for you.
Thank
Great.
you. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And can you give me it's probably only for me, but a friendly reminder, what does PEP stand for again?
I'm sorry.
Preparing excellent performances, I believe. I should know that, but yeah, it's just our fun little acronym as a region for making sure that we provide the education to the region
Okay.
that they need to be excellent or close to excellent in their performances. So musical and administrative. Usually it's limited to one per year. If we find that there haven't been enough courses that have applied for that for the year and we have extras available, we will email out something saying, hey, if you want a second one, we can do that for you this year. So,
Okay. Thank you.
mhm,
Revisit, take advantage of it.
yes.
Anything else? Jan?
I'm going to put my regional finance coordinator hat on for just a moment and make a plug. At the last finance coordinator quarterly meeting, which we've started having, we've had two, we started discussing the implementation of the new regional assessment, and we started talking more specifically about fundraising. And we will be highlighting fundraisers at each one of our finance coordinator meetings that happen quarterly. At the last one, I started out by featuring a program called Raise Right, which the Olympia course has been doing for a number of years, as I believe Alaska and Spokane as well. And you might have heard of it as a script program or a gift card program. It's essentially, when I first heard about it many years ago, I thought, oh my gosh, free money. I don't have to sell anything. I don't have to ask anybody to do anything. I thought it was fabulous. So I did highlight that. There was a lot of interest, and now I hear there's kind of a little buzz going around the organization about it. And so I've been asked to put together a meeting about Raise Right with more detail and how to access how it works, just all the detail. And we're going to record that meeting. So that'll be inviting team leaders, finance coordinators, and your fundraising chairs if you have them. We'll record it, and we'll also create FAQs from that meeting. Right now, I looked at the calendar, and it looks to me, Sandy, like you're the only person that puts anything on the regional calendar. So I can't tell if there's anything else on February 15th, but it doesn't look like there is. So I'm shooting for February 15th for that Zoom meeting to answer any of your questions or teach you or to show you more about the program. We're using it in Olympia to mitigate the regional assessment increases by allowing members. Essentially what it is I buy a gift card for something that I was going to buy anyway. Let's say I'm going to go to Safeway and buy my groceries. I go get a Safeway gift card from my Raise Right account. I use that, and the chorus for what it has maybe, let's say, a 5% bonus on it. I spend $100 on a gift card, the chorus gets $5 automatically. So you basically are getting a kickback from gift cards. They also have a program where it's online. So if I go through the Raise Right site to any site and buy something, even without a gift card,
Well,
my chorus gets a little back to it.
I don't know, ask Jeremiah.
Oh.
I think he's gonna bring it back to Whole Foods.
Arlene, you're not muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a Saturday morning for you.
Yeah, I get that. So at any rate, we're going to be using it to allow members to share in the money that they make through Raise Right. So if they are making $10 for the chorus, they'll get $5 assigned to their account, which can go toward their dues. So it'll mitigate the increase in dues. So what we're going to tell people, hey, if you can make $20 for the chorus, then you're back down to what your dues are now, because we're having a $10 increase in our dues to cover the assessment. So that's the kind of thing people are interested in. I know Alaska's been doing the 50% share for a number of years. Works great for them. When I talked to their finance coordinator, she says, yeah, I haven't paid dues in years. So it's just a matter of how interested people are. So anyway, that's going to be happening on the 15th. I would love to see you there and your finance folks. And if you can encourage as long as I'm doing shameless plugs, if you can encourage your finance folks to come to the finance coordinator meetings, they're new, but there are a lot of really smart people in that group, and I learn something from them every time. And so I think we are really finding some great opportunities with sharing information that really we have not shared in the past. So they're pretty cool.
Thanks for that. Yeah, we are.
And is that fine? Oh, sorry.
Go
Jen,
ahead.
is that finance meeting is on the 25th?
Yes, our next finance meeting is January 25th at 10 a.m. A Zoom meeting.
Okay.
I just sent them out a reminder and encourage them to invite their fundraising chairs as well.
So do you have all the fundraising chair direct emails that they get that?
Mhm.
You don't. So that went to me.
I don't know who they are. So I send out to my finance coordinators and say, hey, because those are the names I have. And they're if anybody they tell me that they'd like to invite, I just add to the list.
Okay.
But there is no formal list of fundraising chairs, but we certainly we may be building one based on this.
So that goes out to Renita Neuenhuis from Bridger Mountain Harmony. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I wanted to make sure she was getting that. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'd love to see her there.
We are our own, often our own best resources. And so the more we can get together and share those ideas, the more we learn. It's all good. And we don't all have to invent things ourselves. We beg, borrow, and steal from everybody else. Other regions, we do it all the time. So that's how we all get better. So thanks for that. That's great information. Anything else we can address this morning? I have a list of a lot of things that you're going to get sent eventually, probably within the next few days. So be watching for that. And as always, any of us, Sandy, Jan, any of the others on RLT are willing and available to answer questions or help with issues at any time. So please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We like helping people. And if there's nothing else for today, we are just over 10 o'clock. I was trying to keep our meetings to an hour because we're busy people. It's a weekend. So go forth and have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm, stay well, and we will be talking to you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a lot
Thank you, Sandy. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks, Sally.
Thanks.
Bye.